Hi, Hatboro-Horsham families. My name is Rebecca Sitman, and I'm a school psychologist in the district. I was asked to create a series of webinars on various topics to offer some support to the community. As I was thinking of good first topics, I thought of my own struggles during this unprecedented time. Like many of you, I am a parent, I am an employee, I have elderly loved ones. Like many of you, I feel overwhelmed at times with worry and concern for myself and my family. The uncertainty of this time can be daunting and crippling. But there are strategies to cope and to feel empowered. As I go through the slides in this presentation, I will offer some suggestions and recommendations. However, I recognize the gravity of the situation, and I do not intend to simplify or minimize the complicated topic. I myself will need to heed my own advice and work on my own coping strategies as I venture on this unprecedented journey along with you. COVID-19 has created a shift in our sense of security, and as a community, we crave security. We want to feel safe and that we have control over our lives. Fear and uncertainty can leave you feeling stressed and anxious and powerless over the direction of your life. It can drain you emotionally and can trap you in a downward spiral of worst-case scenario about what tomorrow might bring. You might start thinking, what's going to happen to my family? Am I going to be able to survive this? Are my kids going to be able to pass school? And parents, I can speak personally. We feel this anxiety deeply. We experience economic uncertainty, employment uncertainty. We worry about the mental health of our children. We worry about their need for socialization and their need to feel connected. And we're worried about keeping and feeling responsible for keeping our family and our loved ones safe. And I'll scream it with you. This is hard. And I ask you to label your feelings, identify your feelings. Feelings are going to surface. They're going to vacillate wildly throughout your days. You're going to feel happiness, you're going to feel fear, you're going to feel excitement, you're going to feel anger, you're going to feel a range of emotions, and give them a name. Stop and think, what am I feeling? Identify who and what gives you strength and who deflates your strength. Personally, I know I can put people into two categories, maybe not so easily, but there are two general categories of people. There are people who, when I surround myself with, give me a sense of peace and hope and optimism. The language we use is about productive thoughts and how we can make the best of the situation. And I feel I contribute meaningfully to that positive energy when I'm with that group. However, when I'm with the group that is more negative and who has more negative patterns and who have more negative thoughts, I tend to gravitate towards those ways, and then I contribute negatively to that dialogue. So I ask you to make a plan to be more positive and to surround yourself with positive people who give you that energy. Because as this slide shows, this quote, anxiety makes you worry about tomorrow, but all you can control is right now. And that's true. You might be able to plan for tomorrow, and you might be able to make changes that can improve your tomorrow, but all of that needs to start today. And what can you control today? Well, first let's say what you can't control. You can't control other people's response to the pandemic and their responsibility. You can't control whether people engage in social distancing guidelines and wear masks properly and wash their hands consistently. You can't control that. You can't control whether schools open and they reopen. You might have strong opinions and you might be able to share your ideas and opinions. However, you don't have the control to make those decisions. And you also can't control other people's feelings about isolation, their feelings in response to these uncertain times. You can only do that for yourself. So what can you control? You can control your own hygiene, your own mask usage, your own social distancing. You can create a bubble around yourself that ensures, to the best of your ability, you're keeping yourself and those closest to you safe. You can schedule, you can control what homeschooling or what virtual school looks like in your home. You can control what that station in your house looks like. For example, when we first learned that school was going to be virtual to start in the fall, my initial response was to panic. And I needed to quickly rebound and quickly be productive with my thoughts. And I went on social media and I found used furniture, and I made sure we had 4 stations in the house. I gave each of my children the opportunity to select their space, to select what they wanted on their space, what materials they needed, that the lighting was good, and that they could decorate it the way they saw fit. So they had ownership and they felt some control over their school space. And I can also control my internal dialogue. I might need to initially fake it. I might need to create dialogue that I need to hear, not that's natural to hear, but I need to make that dialogue positive for myself, and I need it to be a model for my children at home, that that's what they're hearing from me, that I'm modeling that dialogue of positivity when possible. And negativity fuels negativity. When you find yourself in a spiral of negative thoughts, negative future plans, negative outcomes of the pandemic, that cyclical pattern repeats itself almost on a loop that's hard to stop. And if you are always looking at the negative outcomes, your children will focus on their own negative outcomes, and they're going to model and continue that negativity. And negative thoughts won't change the situation. It might mobilize you, and it might empower you to make decisions for yourself and for your family, but it won't change the current situation right now. If we can challenge those thoughts, we will be better able to cope with them. Shoulds and musts. So I have a daughter who lives, breathes, sleeps, eats soccer. And in her mind, she must make it to the professional level. And she should have a national title someday. And if these were her only acceptable outcomes, and if those are the only predictors of her happiness, if those things were to become reality, then she's going to likely be let down. Listen, my kid's a good soccer player, but she's not, she needs a plan B. And flexibility and open-mindedness is a gift to yourself during this time. So try reframing some of your thoughts. So for example, try saying, I would like for school to be in person. That is my ideal, but I'm going to make the most out of this year, and I am open to this being a great year. It might look different, but it can still be great. For my daughter, I'm helping her reframe things to say, I really would like for there to be a soccer season. I really hope there is, but if there isn't, I'll continue to practice on my own so I get even better at the sport, and when there is soccer, I'm going to be great. As humans, we like to predict and plan for the future. Since my kids were born, or since I started on this path in my career, I like to know logical steps and sequences for my life. And we often anticipate the future. But during this unprecedented time we're living through right now, if you predict the future, often the outcome will be catastrophic and stressful. And it would be, I'd say, beneficial to focus on the present. Our futures might look different, but that doesn't need to be bad. So we might need to adjust what our future is going to look like temporarily, but right now we can still be optimistic that it can be good, whatever it is. And often in scary times, we tend to gravitate towards those more devastating possibilities, which sabotages our present mindset. And right now, how we think is our greatest tool for getting through this. And then we're left with the what ifs. What ifs? I say them all the time. Allowing fear of the unknown to dominate your thoughts takes a toll on, takes control away from you. If you allow the what ifs to dominate, you're giving control to the unknown. So what if my kid falls behind in school? I know a lot of you are saying that, fear of the unknown of what virtual school will look like. Another way to frame this question is, what can I do today to avoid my child falling behind in school? So stop and think, who in your network of people that you know and you're connected to, who's good at math? Who's good at organization? Who's good at reading, developing reading skills and has patience with reading? Who can help you with practicing your reading and your math? Find your network of people and reach out to them now. Who can you reach out to in school to maybe start feeling connected? And then you might ask yourself, what if I don't have the right technology to support my family with virtual schooling? Again, another way to frame this is, who can I contact and what supports are available to me to ensure we are able to have the best virtual experience for my family? So maybe there are community resources that can make sure that internet and technology is up to speed or available to community members. You can reach out to the school and let them know that you feel this might be an obstacle for your family and that you are looking for ways to work through this before school starts. Overanalyzing the situation without action can paralyze us in fears. So once you identify the feeling and you identify the what if, then mobilize yourself to come up with a plan. What can you do now so it doesn't end badly? Bad things might happen. In fact, bad things likely will happen. There's going to be bad days. There's going to be hiccups. But what can we plan today to avoid the catastrophic outcome? Although if you might be consumed with worry and you might be consumed with fear of the unknown, but that doesn't necessarily need to be what your children see. You don't want to hide all of your feelings and you want to be honest and forthright, but then you also want to model when you have positive thoughts that surface. Voice them. Don't hold back on the positivity. So if you're having a really nice moment with your kids, tell them, this time with you is great. This time with you is wonderful. I love being able to watch these movies with you. If for a moment you feel like things will be okay, say that out loud. I know we'll be okay. Our teachers are going to do their best to have the best virtual schooling for you possible. I believe that. Let them hear these words too. And help kids reframe their own thoughts. I know I've heard my kids say to me, Mom, I need to be in school. I can't learn the same at home. Try teaching them to say, this is going to be hard, but we're going to do our best. My family and teachers will help me if I struggle. Again, I heard my own kids, I'm using personal examples, say, I need to see my friends. I'm going to die if I don't see my friends. Try to reframe it for them and have them practice saying, I'm going to be creative how I socialize. It may be hard, but I'll figure out a way to see and stay connected to my friends. And let's be honest, all of this time alone, all of this isolation, all of this worry and fear can create an umbrella of loneliness and isolation that can dominate your thoughts and dominate your day-to-day. So here are a few strategies to help you get through that, to help you stay positive and stay connected. Try to keep a routine. I know schooling this year will look different than it did in the spring. In the fall, there'll be a more consistent, structured school schedule that the kids can depend on and you can depend on. So use that as the framework for your day. Breakfast, school time, lunch, more school, time with friends, dinner time, social times, enjoyment times to watch TV and movies. Do things that are more structured and routine, because that creates, that predictability creates comfort. Stay informed, and as I put this, I know there's a very, very fine line before being well informed for accurate health information and advice on precautionary measures, and that allows for empowerment, right? Sometimes information empowers you, but too much information can be daunting and harmful. I know people who are constantly looking to validate their fears. So they're reading news sources and they're watching things and they're absorbing all of this information that's toxic to them because it's overload. But when you find something uplifting and something that gives you hope and control, you feel better. So for example, initially when the pandemic hit, I was very fearful to leave my home, and I didn't understand the transmission of the virus. But as I learned more, I understood through the media, through resources, that I could wear masking appropriately. I can use hygiene to protect myself and my family, social distancing and why that matters. And that created this sense of empowerment and control that I can engage in the world meaningfully while still keeping myself safe. I would encourage you to stay active, and trust me, this is one I need to work on myself. I need to force myself to walk the dog around the neighborhood, but spending too much time in isolation and not getting exercise will have a detrimental effect on your ability to cope. Go for a walk around the neighborhood, find a YouTube yoga video, start a new exercise regimen, weight training, have a plank challenge with your family, something that moves your body and gets the energy flowing and helps with that positivity as you get through your day. And do something meaningful. It's easy to lose your sense of self through this experience. You find that you are so focused on action and reaction that you are losing the things that gave your life meaning. So if you're losing your sense of self, try something like volunteering. There's opportunities virtually to get involved. Find a cause that you feel passionate about and throw yourself into it. Maybe have your children pick something either in the news or something in the community that they feel very connected to, and encourage them to get involved. Maybe learn about your family lineage and create a family tree, a scrapbook, something that helps you remember the person you are and to build that person to an even better place, even in this time. And what do you enjoy? It's hard. It's a hard question, and I understand that, but once you find it, do it. Read article, books, comics, anything that gives you joy. If there's a movie or a series you've been hearing about and you've always wanted to watch it, watch it. And if you feel safe to meet with friends, if you can follow the social distancing guidelines and you feel safe to do so, laugh with your friends. Don't just talk about the pandemic or talk about schools closing or talk about your fears. There's a time and place for that too, but there's a time and place for laughter. Continue to set goals for yourself. The goals might now be specific to this time period. It could be an academic goal, an athletic goal, a personal goal of some sort. And then maybe once the isolation lessens, you can translate that to another goal outside of this time period. And again, as I started the webinar by saying, this does not eliminate the reality or severity of the situation, but you can be simultaneously happy and simultaneously concerned. You don't need to feel guilty for enjoying moments. Happy moments will continue to surface throughout your days, and it's okay, and without guilt, you can embrace those moments. Because when you're feeling peaceful and fulfilled, you will be able to make logical and well-informed decisions. And that's what you need, and that's what your family needs right now, is for you to be able to think logically about what needs to happen and what you can do. And this is true for your children too. Model for them positivity, hope, and optimism. It's the greatest gift you can give them right now. Use language that models confidence. They are looking to you to learn how to cope with this unprecedented time. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you found this presentation helpful and some of these tips valuable. Have a great day.